I need you, 'cause you're my home away from home, away from home, away from being alone. Run away from home, why don't you? 'Cause I did the same just for you. You don't know how much I love you, 'cause you're my home away from home, away from home, away from being alone. I don't wanna stay with you just to have to leave. If it isn't meant to be, you'll still be here eternally. I don't wanna say goodbye, I just arrived. If it isn't meant to be, you'll still be.
Well, we got power back at about 9:30, 10 o'clock last night. So no more generators. I really want to finish this turd up, but man, I just can't win. We got all the injectors and the cups done. We just have to put the rocker arm shaft on, and then we get to fire that thing up. I'm a little worried, like it seems like the cups didn't fail, but it seems like where the injectors meets the cup failed. I've already boxed them all up, getting ready to send them back. But I took a picture of every single injector with the cup and what it looks like, so you guys will be able to see. So hopefully we can get this thing finished up tomorrow, and we can see if that thing will work. We've already got a load. The subscriber we did a load for a long time ago in the hot shot bought a forklift in Albany and something else in Nebraska. I can't remember what he bought. So I told him we're working on the truck. Like, if we can get it going and get it figured out. I was hoping to do a couple of short little runs, which I still might. I still might do one or two short runs. He says we got about 2 weeks from like yesterday. And we'll have to see what happens. Still no word from the door guy. Like, I understand we just had a hurricane, but I don't know, man. If you're that far behind in work and you needed help, you know, a lot of these people want to brag and act like, oh, I'm so busy and I'm doing all this amazing stuff. But when it comes down to it, are you actually? You know, are you actually? So we've boxed up a bunch of stuff. We're gonna send back a saw we bought and some blades. We've already used the grinders and stuff. I can use the grinders, so we're gonna keep the grinders. But we're sending back probably $400 or $500 worth of tools. Between a metal cutting skill saw and 3 blades that we brought, it's about. Let me see, I think the saw was $300 and I think each blade was $50, so $450 worth of stuff. Everything else I'll just keep. It's stuff I could use. I mean, honestly, I'd probably never use the skill saw because I have a chop saw and I have a plasma cutter, but there were some angles on the doors that I thought. I knew my chop saw wouldn't cut because some of the metal was fairly wide. I don't know. It is what it is, man. I just don't understand. I think it all comes down to either 1, he's not busy, or 2, he got mad that I went over and talked to my friend, or both. So, anyways, wait on this rain to stop. And good thing I have both my boys here, though, because it's probably going to take both of them to set that rocker shaft up there and to get all that squared away and situated. I feel good about the cups. I feel good about the injectors. Like, I feel I did as good a job as anybody else could have done on that. Like, I don't feel like it could have been done any better other than, like, putting them inside of a new head. So, I don't know. We'll see you tomorrow when it's not raining anymore. All right, guys. Finally, I think we have a day where it's not going to rain. So, let's get this thing back together. I hope we get this thing going today. I'm excited. Let's do this.
I hope to make you my own before the train ride home. I hope to make you my own before the train ride home. I hope to make you my own.
All right, so we have the shaft back up here, and we have them all in the orientation that they have to be, because what happens when you pick up on this, they just start spinning around and they're facing the wrong way, and it's an absolute nightmare. So we decided to lift it up. I've got the old injector hold down bolts keeping the 4, because there's 4 per section, and then I had Nate pick it up and we've wire tied them all together, so when we go to move one, it'll move all 4 in the direction we need, with the exception of that back. That back will probably be all right because we're technically pivoting back there. Oh man, this is the worst part of the job right here. This is the absolute worst. So now what we're gonna do is I'll have to move this towel out of the way. We'll have to lift this thing up and see if we can get it to sit down on those pins, and then we can take these wires off. These are the ones that go down inside the injectors, Nate. These little balls. All right. This is a nightmare. Oh, it's this right here. Oh yeah. Yeah, maybe I should just go ahead and tie that up, huh? Well, I don't know. It can't flip around because we're pivoting on that end. I cannot stop just dripping sweat. So I think the bolts are now hitting on this. I think we might have to pick it up higher than we think. You know what I mean? All right, so we're almost done, but there's these plunger things that fit up inside here that we have 2 of them that won't go up inside. We've got this one and we've got this one. All these other ones, you can see they've slid all the way up. I've tried tapping down on this thing with a rubber mallet. You can kind of see that it's kind of crooked. I hate to pry on this thing too much, but I'm gonna have to do something because I'm not taking this back out. This is not coming back out. All right, we got them all in. I just took a rubber mallet and kind of tapped on them and got 2 of them to fall out, and then we just lined them back up and tapped them back in. Now I'm just going around putting some ultra slick on everything that's going to touch so we don't have a dry start. We still have to tighten this rocker shaft down. I'm going to have to go through with my feeler gauge. I'm going to have to adjust all of these all the way down through here to the proper spec. And I did do that one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I got to do that back one, the 18 millimeter.
Yeah.
All right. So we've made a big mistake. These caps are supposed to go here. We noticed it when we went to go start shimming and adjusting the adjustments on this. This bolt here is how you adjust this rocker arm. So all of these have to go here, and these have to go here. So that means we have to take off all these bolts on this rocker shaft and re-torque them all over again. All right, so basically what you have to do is you have to get underneath the truck with a little gear, and you have to turn the flywheel over until you see on your cam, you have to line the notch up of this cam with these. And then the numbers on the cam mean something. Like right now we're on 4 E5. So number 4, the first number is the number 4 cylinder. So the number 4 cylinder, then you can do the intake and the injector on number 4. And then E5 means you can do the exhaust on the 5th cylinder. So we can do the intake and the injector on number 4, and then the exhaust on number 5. Yeah, now it's a 2E1, which means we do the 2nd cylinder, intake and injector, and then number 1 exhaust. So the intake, according to the interwebs, will be a 0.20 millimeter or a 0.008, and that's how you'll check this. And then in order to do the cup or the injector, what you do is you back this off all the way, and then you slowly tighten until it just makes contact of the cup without pushing the springs down. And then this will be 240 degrees after it makes contact with the cup. All right, we are back together. This is it. We just got to, I think they tell you to put some gray gasket maker where these two pieces of block to come together. Then we got to put the valve cover back on, and we should be good to go, other than putting the air box and stuff on. Hopefully we get this thing started today. Guess we'll see, huh? I like to put this ultra slick engine assembly on everything. All right, we have put it back together. Surprisingly, we don't have any extra bolts left over, so that might be a good sign. I've already stuck the shop back on this. We're gonna have to get some more radiator fluid, but I think we'll be all right to go ahead and try to start this thing. I just have to hook the batteries back up. We have to prime the fuel system, and we're about to see if we wasted 3 days. And let's see, I've what, $600 in tools and cleaners and stuff easily. All right, let me hook these batteries back up. We're gonna prime this thing. We're gonna start this truck today.
Your phone's doing the same thing my phone does.
What?
Puts it on 1 automatically.
Oh yeah, it's so stupid. I don't know if I have it primed enough. My arm's about to fall off. And they say it could take 100 pumps. They are not joking. It's not primed. Fuel going back to the tank. I don't get it, man. This thing will not prime. too, man. Keep the prime. We couldn't get it to prime right there before we did the injectors.
He's trying.
Let the starter cool down. We'll try to prime this handle again. Primer just isn't getting like hard. Like it was.
Yeah. I don't
Do
know.
we have that much air in the system? Maybe. See what this globe is at. Globe's full. Running out of daylight. Well, good morning. So yesterday we finished up with this truck, but we couldn't get it primed. Then we ran out of daylight. So this morning I'm out here basically going through trying to reverse everything we did the last time we tried to prime the truck, and it wouldn't prime before we did the cups. So I did the little air hose test trying to prime it, where we hooked the air hose up to the fuel tank trying to pressurize fuel back into the system. And I noticed last night it kept saying low on fuel, and I'm like, what's going on? So this morning I get out here, I put all the old banjo washers back on, and I'm basically trying to reverse everything that we did with me trying to fix this, and then it stopped priming. So I look in this fuel tank here, and this fuel tank is completely empty. Like there's like nothing on the bottom of this tank. So I'm like, oh my gosh, did we leak all of our fuel out somehow? And I checked this tank, and this tank is completely filled to the top. So it's not equalizing the fuel from one tank to the other like a lot of people said it would. But for some reason, when we pressure this tank, it's pushing all the fuel over to this tank. So now I'm going to hook the air hose back up to this side. I'm going to try to push fuel, half of this fuel back over to that side. And I'm thinking that's why it wouldn't prime last night, because the other tank didn't have any fuel, and it's been sucking air in this siphon over here. So yeah, that's pretty wild.
That scared the shit out of me.
What was it?
A wrench. Guess it was on the steps.
Yeah. I just got done telling Lita, I think we accidentally locked the orange cat in the truck. It just came out of the semi truck. I didn't see it go in. Crazy. Well, this is this is what, 3 days after we finished the truck. We still can't get this thing to prime. We've done everything in the world. We've pressurized the tanks. We've broke valves loose. We've pumped on that pump for 1,000,000 pumps. We cannot get this to prime. So we've ordered a new priming filter housing. That should be here today. That is an absolute nightmare to take off.
I didn't think you were taking it off right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if it's supposed to be here today.
Yeah, it's supposed to be here today. Said delivery by 5. So I wish there was a way I could check to see if this thing was actually working. Here, hold that. How does this work? I don't know, man.
Does it feel like it's pushing stuff out? I feel like you should feel something coming out of there, man. I mean, I feel
I feel a little bit of a suction right here by my finger.
Yeah, but is it enough?
I don't know. Put your finger on that. You have to make a good seal. That's not a good seal. I guess we can compare it to the other one. Of course, I don't know if any of these other orifices being open is affecting the suction of this.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's got a suction on it. This might not be it. I don't know. I think I'm going to take this opportunity. To blow all these lines out real good.
Yeah.
Little did we know, this thing we bought was just going to hold a bunch of junk for the semi truck, huh? So the mailman just left, dropping this off. I've already swapped this bottom piece. You got to put this bottom piece on here if you don't run this fuel filter, and usually you don't run this fuel filter if you have the Davco fuel deal. I don't know if there's any way to bench test this. It doesn't feel like it's getting any more suction than that one, or maybe that one's just losing suction somehow, or we just wasted a bunch of money on more parts for this truck. So I think what I have to do is I have to look at this, because a lot of these have ports that are blocked off that we will need. Like you can see, we're going to have to take these two caps out because those two are out. We're going to have to swap this metal piece over, which is this piece. I don't know. I just want this thing to run so we can go run those $1.50 a mile loads, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The new one is on now. They say it can take up to 200 pumps to prime this thing. And yeah, I'm not kidding. They say up to 200. So, fuel filter's full. Pretty sure my Davco is full over here. I could probably put more in that, but I think that's fine. I think we're fine with that. So we'll keep an eye on that, and we're gonna get to pumping this thing. No pun intended.
What does that even mean?
There is so much air in there. I mean, the real thing will be, is it gonna lose prime again? That'll be the real test. Well, it's been idling for a bit, and it's definitely running a lot better. I wish I could say that primer fuel filter housing was the fix, but it was dummy me. When we disconnected these two lines from this Davco fuel filter, connected that rubber piece between, those there's some zip ties holding me off. Let me where's those fancy scissors I just had? I got the lines mixed up. And remember, I kept saying there was something wrong. Why is that fuel draining back? And it was actually Lita that came up with the idea. She said, why don't we just try to switch these lines? So we switched the lines, and we kept trying to prime it. We still couldn't get it fixed. I'm like, well, that's not the case. So we did what we tried before, which is where I hooked the air hose up to one of the fuel tanks. She crawls underneath the fuel tanks and she blocks off both vent holes, which should force the air back up to the front. I undid the bolt at the front of the head like we tried multiple times when these lines were wrong. I let it blow all the air out until it was nothing but fuel coming out, and then I tightened that bolt back down again. And then while she was holding the air lines closed, I jumped in and started the truck, and it's been running ever since. So it wasn't even the primer pump. Now I've got a mess to clean up while this thing idles, and we'll shut it off and we'll try to start it again tomorrow. Make sure we still have prime. All right, it's now dark outside. It's probably been an hour. I've just been going around kind of cleaning up. I won't be able to sleep tonight unless I try to start this truck again. Fired right up. We'll try again in the morning.